The new $3.8 million Lifelong Learning Center is among the first in the world that offers comprehensive programs for people with Down syndrome through every stage of their lives. The Down Syndrome of Louisville Center opened this year and is expected to be a model for similar ones across the United States. It has specially designed classrooms, a therapy room, exercise room, a large training kitchen, and even a model apartment to teach housekeeping skills. Contributions allow for the facility to be completely paid for before it opened. In the large career center, volunteers tutor adults with Down syndrome and help them sharpen their job skills. The past year also saw Down Syndrome of Louisville expand its service area to 10 counties in southern Indiana. It also entered into several partnerships, including one that will allow some children with Down syndrome to receive aquatic therapy at Home of the Innocents. Another partnership with the University of Louisville School of Medicine might lead to the creation of a Louisville Center for Excellence in Down syndrome. A record number of people said yes to becoming organ donors last year, and 301 Kentuckians, also a record number, received organ transplants. Kentucky organ donor affiliates also had 341 tissue donors in 2010, enabling more people to see, walk, and lead healthy lives. Each tissue donor can help more than 50 recipients. There now are more than 1 million Kentuckians on the Kentucky Organ Donor Registry. That's solid evidence that people are more enthusiastically embracing organ and tissue donation. Much of CODA's success revolves around its partnerships with organizations like Trust for Life, a group of employees of the clerks of the circuit court. When issuing driver's licenses, the clerks add the names of the people who choose to be organ donors to a national registry. According to CODA Executive Director Paul O'Flynn, more than 112,000 people are on the National Organ Donor waiting list, including 700 in Kentucky. CODA will continue to emphasize education and outreach as it extends its message across Kentuckiana. After serving the greater Louisville community for more than 115 years, Volunteers of America of Kentucky is not about to rest on its past success. Instead, it is taking on challenges such as homelessness, substance abuse, disabilities, and AIDS, HIV. VOA produces positive outcomes. For example, the Grace House Substance Abuse Treatment Program for pregnant and parenting women achieved a 100% goal of babies being born drug and alcohol free for 3 years and counting. And more than 75% of homeless families served at the Smoketown Area Family Emergency Shelter go on to find stable, affordable housing. This year, VOA secured a $784,000 grant from the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs to serve veterans and their family members at risk of being homeless. President and CEO Jane Burke says her team is made up of caring, compassionate people, but she points out that the VOA is not a, quote, group hug organization. Instead, it relies on best practices as it helps people solve major problems.
Like the government agency its company name mimics, CI Agent Solutions LLC must be adaptable and ready to handle any challenges that come its way on short notice. The company cleans up hydrocarbon spills, including crude oil, gas, diesel, solvents, and peanut or vegetable oil. CI Agent was called into service for the 2010 Deepwater Horizon oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, and since its work there, the company has been on a roll. A major new client, International Transmission Company, which is a large independent electricity transmission business, accounted for 20% of CI Agent sales in 2011. CI Agent also launched a division that helps fire departments submit insurance claims for the cleanup of hazardous materials after accidents. This year, the company has extended its reach to the West Coast, acquiring a family of 3 companies that were folded into the Stormwater Solutions division of CI Agent. Meanwhile, the company has expanded its Louisville facilities twice in the past 2 years to keep up with demand. Data LLC is on the fast track. The company hired 19 employees in 2010 and anticipates by the end of 2011 at least 23 more will be on board. Data helps ensure the clients, such as hospices, home health agencies, human services, and other organizations meet their goals of measuring and improving the quality of care that they provide. In recent years, the company received a huge boost from government-mandated programs in the home health arena. For example, a law passed 2 years ago requires patient satisfaction surveys to be done by a third-party vendor for agencies that receive Medicare or Medicaid reimbursement. That's where data comes in, as it serves this market. The company's revenue has gone up to $5.7 million last year from $1.5 million in 2006. President and CEO Kevin Porter projects 2011 revenue will reach about $8 million. To accommodate its growth, Data recently doubled its Louisville office space. As it seeks future opportunities, Data plans to pursue new partnerships with state associations. Online degree programs are a convenient choice for many technically savvy students today, and the Learning House is chalking up success by helping run such programs. The company helps design online courses, promotes them, provides tech tools, trains instructors, and furnishes online support to colleges and universities that offer online courses. Current clients include about 90 schools in about 30 states. The popularity of the courses has led to revenue growth of more than 50% a year for the Learning House. The weak economy hasn't hurt the company. In fact, it has helped. More people are returning to school to finish their degrees, hoping to lock in job security or to land new positions. Learning House is seeking more office space in downtown Louisville to accommodate its growth. Meanwhile, more changes are on tap as it was acquired this fall by a Connecticut-based investment firm. Plans call for the Learning House to remain based in Louisville and to add 50 more employees over the next year.
The past year has been an exciting time for Voice.net, a technology solutions reseller that also offers data center services and desktop support. The IT industry struggles with turnover, but Voice.net's rate is about half the national average. To keep strong talent, the company celebrates with reward trips. Voice.net took 42 key employees who had at least 1 year of service and their spouses to a resort in West Virginia for a long weekend this year. There was plenty to celebrate. New accounts landed in recent years include Passport Health Plan and the KFC Yum Center. Voice.net provides IT services for Passport, and the company is the data networking infrastructure provider for the new downtown Louisville arena, managing phone, security, and wireless services. President and CEO Bill Hall credits employees with a big part of the company's success, saying they want to do the job right. As a result, he said, they often work past regular business hours and on weekends. Back in the late 1970s, when doctors Jim Sublette and Steve Pollard were deciding where to base their new allergy practice, they headed out into a cow pasture and launched Family Allergy and Asthma on Shelbyville Road near Hurstbourne Parkway. At the time, most medical practices were clustered in the downtown medical center, but the co-founders discovered that taking a radical approach to their location paid off. In the more than 30 years since Family Allergy and Asthma started, it has mushroomed into a thriving practice with 14 doctors, 130 employees, and 19 locations in Metro Louisville and across Kentucky. In 2011, the growth continued as 4 doctors joined the practice and it opened a new office in Florence, Kentucky. As part of its focus, Family Allergy and Asthma has opened about 10 offices in underserved, often rural areas where physicians are scarce and specialty physicians even fewer in number. Growth is a buzzword at the York Companies, Inc. The employment services business expanded on 3 fronts this last year. It leased office space in Nashville, Tennessee, increased revenue dramatically, and added 17 employees, more than doubling the size of its permanent staff. York provides employment services for businesses, including temporary staffing, temp to hire, direct hire, executive recruiting, training, and outsourced services. Client activity has been strong for York recently. The company secured 3 new large clients, all in the wholesale retail distribution business, services, including e-business. York also followed existing clients as they expanded into new regions. Plans call for opening an office in northern Kentucky in 3 to 6 months and expanding into Indianapolis perhaps as soon as the second half of next year. And meanwhile, the company focuses on the personal and professional development of its staff through specialized training such as webinars, a book club, and financial planning training.
For the 5th consecutive year, Candyrific LLC has made the Inc. 500 list of the fastest-growing companies in the U.S. The manufacturer and wholesaler of novelty candy items saw international sales alone increase 85% in the past year. Much of the firm's growth comes from licensing. Candyrific became Mars Incorporated's top licensee this year when it acquired an international license from Mars. If not the king, chocolate is extremely important at the company. Candyrific purchased and resold more than 150 million individual M&Ms in 2010. Candyrific operates production facilities in mainland China and has distributors worldwide. That's why the unexpected is the norm. Populist uprisings this year in the Middle East significantly decreased Candyrific's normally strong sales in Egypt. And in China, Candyrific routinely handles labor shortages, brownouts, and factory closures 3 weeks each year during the Chinese New Year festival. The company's candy toys also call for a detailed-oriented approach. John Stafford, Candyrific's longtime CPA, says the Candyrific team is particularly good at that. Mortensen Family Dental is on the move. The dental practice group has 45 general and specialty locations in Louisville and southern Indiana, including 6 that opened this year. But 2011 also saw growth beyond Kentuckiana. Mortensen acquired a 50% interest in Howard Family Dental and will be the managing partner of this Savannah, Georgia-based dental practice, which has 9 locations. Mortensen also completed a merger with a large practice in Sioux City, Iowa on October 1st. These acquisitions mean that an additional 130 employees, about 10 locations, and 40,000 patients now are part of Mortensen Family Dental. All this activity led to the need for more workers. An additional 23 back-office positions will be created in Louisville with salaries that pay about $25,000 to $40,000. CEO Dr. O. Wayne Mortensen says the practice reached a level of maturity in Louisville, so he hopes to affiliate with well-established, strong practices with good reputations in regional markets and help them grow, as Mortensen Family Dental has grown here. Mr. P Express Incorporated, a contract national and Canadian trucking company, is investing in itself. The company has spent a total of $4.5 million on new trucks, as well as construction and renovation work. It purchased 3.5 more acres at River Ridge Commerce Center in southern Indiana and wrapped up construction of a $1.5 million state-of-the-art garage on part of the property in November. Its fleet now boasts 22 new tractors and 45 trailers, a $2 million investment. CEO Alan Parnell attributes his company's growth to 3 factors: an aggressive sales and marketing team, strong customer relationships, and weaker competition after the poor economy caused other trucking companies to shut down. The September 9th closure of the Sherman-Minton Bridge has posed a bit of a traffic hassle for Mr. P drivers, but hasn't slowed the company's bottom line. To cope, Mr. P stores equipment in Louisville, allows some staff to telecommute, and rents an apartment in southern Indiana for key employees.
Paul Diaz joined Kindred Healthcare as president and COO almost a decade ago, less than a year after the company reorganized under Chapter 11 of the U.S. Bankruptcy Code. Today, Kindred is in a much different place. It has doubled its revenue, expanded employment, and moved into new business lines that make it the nation's largest provider of post-acute healthcare services. Kindred employs about 76,000 in 46 states. Revenue is expected to top $6 billion this year, compared with about $2.9 billion in 2001. A highlight of 2011 was Kindred's acquisition of Rehab Care Group for $1.3 billion. According to Diaz, the stars aligned to allow the merger, but the two companies had talked on and off for several years. Diaz's background as an accountant and attorney give him a lot of tools to call upon as he leads Kindred into new markets. And Greater Louisville Inc. President and CEO Joe Regan has high praise, saying that Paul Diaz is the kind of CEO every city needs.
Ford has upped its reliance on Louisville as it continues its profitable turnaround, and there is plenty for the city and the company to celebrate. Last December, automaker officials announced that Ford would invest $600 million to completely overhaul the Louisville assembly plant. The retooling will allow the newly redesigned Ford Escape SUV to be made there. It also means an additional 1,800 jobs. A new contract with the United Auto Workers also calls for another $621 million investment in a new press line at the Kentucky truck plant and a third shift and second vehicle at the assembly plant. The net results will be another 1,300 Ford jobs in Louisville next year. Analysts credit every auto manufacturing job with creating another 8 jobs, so the addition of 3,100 Ford jobs means thousands of more spin-off jobs for suppliers and other service companies. Meanwhile, other cities envy Ford's commitment to Louisville, which speaks volumes about the quality of the workforce here, according to Joe Regan, president and CEO of Greater Louisville Inc., the Metro Chamber of Commerce. Until federal officials made an important decision earlier this year, Humana Military Healthcare Services, Inc. faced a very uncertain future. The Humana Incorporated subsidiary had lost its bid to retain a multi-billion-dollar contract to administer health benefits for the U.S. Department of Defense to a competitor. But Humana Military's leadership didn't give up trying to regain the TRICARE contract. They mounted a nearly round-the-clock effort to regain the $23.5 billion 5-year contract and the 800 Louisville jobs that were threatened. In February, after a lengthy protest and rebidding process, Humana Military came out on top. President and CEO Dave Baker said there was a tremendous amount at risk, but every single employee was totally engaged in winning the contract back. And as CFO Raymond S. Pryor Jr. put it, under adversity, sometimes you come together even stronger. One silver lining in the experience is Humana Military's aggressive exploration of new business opportunities, as it has solicited and won new contracts in other areas. Payment Alliance International sailed through an economy stuck in the doldrums by simply absorbing competitors. It has acquired 10 of its competitors in 4.5 years. The company deploys and maintains ATMs and processes ATM payments. Revenue at the 6-year-old company grew from $185 million in 2008 to $278 million in 2010, an increase of 50%. This means that Payment Alliance has been in a constant state of acquisition and subsequent integration, or total and wonderful chaos, says John J. Leahy III, President and CEO. What Payment Alliance has done isn't easy. Attorney Bill Strench, who has worked with the company, says he has been amazed at how adept the company is at pulling off these deals. One factor in the company's successful integration of competitors with different corporate cultures has been the scary economy. Employees of all parties, old and new companies, have put aside their differences to work together as a team, Leahy said. Since the beginning of this year, Zappos Fulfillment Centers has hired more than 1,400 workers to staff its 2 large distribution centers in Shepherdsville. The company handles distribution and logistics for online shoe, apparel, and accessory retailer Zappos.com, which is based near Las Vegas. But those workers were just the start of good things to come. Zappos planned to hire more than 3,000 temporary workers this holiday season to keep up with the Christmas rush. And Zappos is also gobbling up more space. It outgrew more than 1 million square feet of space in 2 Bullitt County fulfillment centers and spilled over into a third building where it moved its return center. Now owned by Seattle-based online retailer Amazon.com Inc., Zappos plans more exciting things for Bullitt County. Next year, construction of a 1.2 million square foot distribution center is planned, and Zappos is poised to hire 5,000 more full-time workers in the next 3 years.